Coffee, our cherished companion for countless mornings, with a bold flavor and that oh-so-needed energy boost. But beyond the beloved cup lies a world of hidden potential. Today, we'll embark on a journey to explore the lesser-known aspects of coffee, its impact on our health and the environment. Buckle up, coffee lovers, because this dive unlocks some surprising gems that will elevate your daily brew to a whole new level. Get ready to have your caffeine-fueled world rocked as we spill the beans on coffee's unexpected secrets. So, grab your favorite mug, and let's get started on an adventure that will change your coffee game forever. Number 1. Ochratoxin A. Think your morning cup of joe is harmless? Think again. A sneaky toxin called Ochratoxin A (OTA) can hide in your coffee beans. But fear not, coffee crusaders. Here's your battle plan to conquer OTA. Roast like a boss. Blasting your beans with a dark roast is your secret weapon. It delivers the most significant blow against OTA, leaving you with a safer cup. Grind smart, not hard. Don't let those grinds get too fine. Opt for a coarse grind to further slash OTA levels. The ultimate takedown. Combine dark roast with a coarse grind for the ultimate 1-2 punch against OTA. This champion combo boasts a whopping 97% reduction in the toxin. Bonus tip, store your beans in an airtight container, tucked away in a cool, dark spot. This keeps those nasty mold spores at bay, preventing future contamination. Number 2. Aflatoxin. While Ochratoxin A may be a well-known concern lurking in your coffee beans, it's not the only toxin you need to watch out for. Enter aflatoxin, another sneaky byproduct of mold that can grow on various crops, including coffee beans. Exposure to high levels of aflatoxin has been linked to liver damage and an increased risk of liver cancer, making it an important aspect of food safety. Fortunately, the levels of aflatoxin found in coffee are typically quite low and unlikely to pose a significant health risk for most people. This is because coffee undergoes rigorous processing and storage methods that minimize mold growth. Additionally, regulatory bodies set strict limits for aflatoxin levels in coffee to ensure consumer safety. However, there are still steps you can take to further minimize your potential exposure. Opting for high-quality, freshly roasted beans can be beneficial. Additionally, storing your coffee beans in a cool, dry place and grinding them just before brewing can further minimize the risk of contamination. Number 3. Acrylamide. Let's discuss acrylamide, a chemical compound formed when coffee beans are roasted at high temperatures. Acrylamide is also found in many other cooked foods, and it's a byproduct of the Maillard reaction, responsible for the appealing brown color and rich flavor we enjoy. It's important to note that the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IRC, has classified acrylamide as probably carcinogenic to humans based on animal studies involving high doses. However, the levels of acrylamide typically found in coffee are generally considered low and unlikely to pose a significant health risk for most individuals. Brewing methods like cold brew or pour-over may yield coffee with lower acrylamide content compared to methods like espresso or French press. Number 4. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, are a group of chemicals formed when organic materials, like coffee beans, are roasted or grilled at high temperatures. Studies suggest potential health risks, including cancer, associated with high consumption of PAHs. It's important to note that the levels of PAHs found in coffee are generally low and unlikely to pose a significant health risk for most coffee drinkers. However, understanding their presence and taking steps to minimize exposure is still important. Mild roasting can reduce the total PAHs content in roasted coffee. Additionally, brewing methods like pour-over or drip coffee, which involve lower temperatures, may produce coffee with lower pH levels compared to methods like espresso or French press. Number 5. Caffeine, pregnancy, and breastfeeding. Whether you're pregnant or nursing, caffeine intake is important to be aware of. This is because caffeine can pass through the placenta to your baby during pregnancy and can also be transferred through breast milk. During pregnancy, excessive caffeine intake has been linked to potential complications like low birth weight and preterm labor. As a result, many healthcare professionals recommend limiting caffeine consumption. Similarly, while breastfeeding, small amounts of caffeine from your coffee can reach your baby through breast milk. While occasional caffeine intake is generally considered safe, excessive consumption can disrupt your baby's sleep patterns and cause irritability. Therefore, moderation is key. And if you're breastfeeding, be mindful of your caffeine consumption and its potential effects on your baby. Remember, this information is for general understanding only. Always consult your healthcare provider for personalized guidance regarding caffeine intake throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. Number 6. Flavoring agents in coffee. While flavored coffee may tantalize the taste buds, the use of artificial flavoring agents can have negative consequences. These additives often mask the natural flavor of coffee beans, diminishing the unique characteristics and quality of the brew. Moreover, some flavoring agents may contain artificial chemicals and additives, which can pose health risks when consumed regularly. Additionally, flavored coffee production may contribute to environmental pollution and waste through the disposal of packaging and processing byproducts. Opting for naturally flavored or unflavored coffee can help preserve the authenticity and purity of the coffee drinking experience while minimizing potential health and environmental concerns. Number 7. Sugar in coffee. While sugar may sweeten the taste of your morning brew, its excessive use can have detrimental effects on health. Adding sugar to coffee increases its calorie content and contributes to weight gain, obesity, and related health issues such as diabetes and heart disease. Moreover, consuming sugary coffee regularly can lead to dependence on added sweetness, masking the natural flavors of the coffee itself. Choosing to reduce or eliminate sugar in coffee not only promotes better health, but also supports environmental sustainability and allows for a more authentic coffee experience. Number 8. The risks of toxins in coffee packaging. While we savor the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, we often overlook the potential hazards lurking in its packaging. Many coffee bags and containers contain plastics and other chemicals that can leach toxins into the beans, compromising both flavor and safety. Plastic packaging, in particular, poses significant concerns as it can release harmful chemicals such as bisphenol A, BPA, and phthalates into the coffee. These substances have been linked to various health issues, including hormonal disruptions and reproductive problems. Furthermore, the environmental impact of plastic packaging cannot be ignored. Plastic pollution poses a grave threat to ecosystems, marine life, and human health, with plastic particles infiltrating waterways and food chains. To mitigate these risks, opt for coffee packaged in materials that are free from harmful chemicals, such as BPA-free containers or compostable packaging. Number 9. Toxins in coffee cup. While we relish the warmth of our favorite coffee, we might unknowingly expose ourselves to toxins through the cups we use. Disposable coffee cups, often lined with plastic or wax coatings, can leach harmful chemicals into our drinks, compromising both taste and safety. Plastic-lined cups may contain substances like BPA or styrene, which can seep into hot beverages, especially when in contact with acidic liquids like coffee. These chemicals have been associated with various health risks, including hormone disruption and potential carcinogenic effects. Furthermore, some paper cups are coated with a thin layer of polyethylene to prevent leakage, but this coating can also introduce harmful compounds into our coffee. Over time, repeated exposure to these toxins can accumulate in the body and pose long-term health concerns. To reduce exposure to toxins from coffee cups, opt for reusable alternatives made from safe materials like glass, ceramic, or stainless steel. Additionally, supporting coffee shops that use eco-friendly, toxin-free cups can encourage responsible consumption and sustainable practices. Number 10. Toxins in decaf coffee. While decaf coffee offers a caffeine-free alternative for many, it's important to be aware of potential toxins that can be present in the decaffeination process. Traditional methods of decaffeination often involve the use of chemical solvents like methylene chloride or ethyl acetate, which can leave behind residues in the coffee beans. Residual traces of these chemicals may pose health risks if consumed regularly, as they have been linked to adverse effects such as headaches, dizziness, and respiratory irritation. Additionally, some studies suggest potential long-term health concerns associated with the ingestion of these chemical residues. To mitigate the risks associated with toxins in decaf coffee, you should opt for brands that use safer decaffeination methods, such as the Swiss water process or carbon dioxide extraction. These methods rely on natural substances or non-toxic solvents to remove caffeine from the beans, resulting in a cleaner and safer product. Number 11. Environment impact. Every sip of coffee comes with a hidden cost: the destruction of our rainforests. For every cup, about a square inch of rainforest is lost. Mass coffee production not only clears land, but also poisons the soil and water with chemicals, devastating ecosystems. Rivers and streams become toxic, wildlife dies, and erosion threatens the land. By choosing sustainable coffee options, you can make a tangible difference. Look for certifications like Fair Trade and Rainforest Alliance that ensure ethical and environmentally friendly practices. Your choice matters. It's a vote for the preservation of our planet's biodiversity and the protection of indigenous communities who rely on these forests for their livelihoods. Number 12. Ethical concerns in coffee production. Beyond the environmental toll, the coffee industry faces several ethical challenges that often go unnoticed by consumers. Unfair labor practices and human rights violations persist in many coffee-growing regions, casting a dark shadow on each sip. Coffee is an incredibly labor-intensive crop, and in many parts of the world, workers on coffee plantations endure harsh conditions and meager wages. They frequently lack basic labor rights, job security, and access to healthcare or education. In some cases, child labor and human trafficking have been documented, perpetuating a vicious cycle of poverty and exploitation. The coffee trade is dominated by a handful of multinational corporations, leaving small farmers with little bargaining power. These farmers often lack access to fair prices, credit, and resources, trapping them in a cycle of subsistence living. Many are forced to sell their crops at unfairly low prices, unable to invest in sustainable practices or improve their livelihoods. Large-scale coffee production frequently prioritizes high yields over traditional, sustainable farming methods. This approach not only damages the environment, but also threatens the cultural heritage and indigenous knowledge passed down through generations. As a result, local communities lose their connection to the land and their ancestral practices. In conclusion, while coffee is a beloved beverage enjoyed by millions around the world, it's essential to be mindful of the potential risks associated with various additives and processes involved in its production, packaging, and consumption. By making informed choices, supporting ethical and sustainable practices, and advocating for transparency in the coffee industry, we can enjoy our coffee with greater peace of mind, knowing that we are prioritizing both our health and the well-being of the planet. Let's raise our cups to a future where coffee is not only delicious, but also safe, sustainable, and socially responsible. Stay healthy.